I have come up with a top 10 in my number 2 spot, but in my number 1 spot, we are another day closer to the Miss Universe Philippines preliminary competition and another day closer to finding out who the new Miss Universe Philippines will be. So welcome to my final predictions for Miss Universe Philippines before the preliminary competition. I always like to do like a final predictions before the prelims, and then of course a predictions after the prelims. So my plan is to be able to watch the prelims with you guys. I want to do a live on my YouTube channel. We can watch it together. You guys can comment, I can give my comments, and then of course I will give like a recap, my final predictions before the final show. But anyways, from everything I've seen so far, this is my final predictions. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably pretty predictable. I talk about almost all of these women all the time, and so it's probably nothing you haven't heard, but stay tuned and see if I mention some surprises that you haven't heard me talk about. When I make my predictions for any pageant, whether it's Miss Universe Philippines, Miss Peru, Miss Universe Canada, what I look for is the same, because ultimately each woman who represents each country is going to the same ultimate pageant, Miss Universe. As you guys know, I mostly talk about Miss Universe because I competed at Miss Universe. And so when I make my predictions, I look for a few different things. Number one, I look for interview skills. So when I'm looking at the interview skills, I'm looking for someone who is sure of themselves, who knows herself and her purpose very well, who speaks well. It doesn't necessarily mean that she has to speak English really well, but rather just speaks with confidence and speaks in a way that makes us want to listen to her and makes us feel endeared by what she says. Of course, we want to feel inspired by the contestants, but that's not everything. Sometimes when you're listening to someone speak, you don't have to necessarily be inspired, you just have to be interested in what they're saying. They have to be engaging. When I look at interview skills, I'm looking at a few different factors. The biggest thing is, does she hold my attention and do I want to listen to what she has to say? That's kind of the biggest thing, and you guys know exactly what I mean without me putting those words on it. When you're watching these different interviews, it's pretty easy to tell like who is capturing your attention, right? Like who do you want to hear from, or who is maybe needs to work on her skills a little bit. Next up, I look for stage presence and aura. Even if someone doesn't have the best walk or the best poses, if they have presence and if they have an aura about them that has us wanting to see more from them, that is so important, because at Miss Universe, you may have the best walk or the best body, whatever that means, or the best poses, but if you don't have that aura, that it factor, that confidence about you, it doesn't matter how good your walk is. It doesn't matter how expensive and beautiful your gown is. You have to have that presence about you. I always look for that when it comes to the walks, and even just in like the behind the scenes of the photo shoots and stuff like that. Who has the aura about them that makes them seem like a queen? Next up, this one is important because you know what? At the end of the day, these women are doing endorsements, they're doing commercials, they're doing all kinds of things that have to do with getting their photo taken and being in videos. I am looking at who is photogenic and who is videogenic. It isn't everything, because of course facial beauty is not the #1 factor when it comes to winning a crown, but it certainly means something. It means something because that is part of the job of Miss Universe Philippines, Miss Universe, is that you are endorsing products. You are the face of brands. You are showing up as basically like a model, maybe not necessarily your traditional fashion model, but you are modeling in a way that you want to be captivating. This, I don't want people to take this the wrong way, because you can be photogenic and videogenic without being like a model, having a model face. I don't know how to put it, but I think you guys would know what I mean if I gave some examples. Is that you can look at somebody and think, oh wow, like their eyes are very expressive, they're smizing. You can read or feel or see their personality through a picture. So that's what we're really looking for. We're looking at someone who captivates us through the lens of a camera. And overall, the biggest thing I really look for and try to feel out is who is giving me that it factor. When I see her on stage, like this is kind of going with the presence, but sometimes there's just like a gut feeling about who is giving me the Miss Universe Philippines, the Miss Universe vibes. That I really can't describe because I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a feeling or seeing something. So overall, that's what I look for when I'm looking for who is going to make it into my predictions, into my standouts, into my list of who I think could win Miss Universe Philippines. Enough about that, let's dive into the list. I have come up with a top 10 and then a list of a few women who are catching my eye. In my first spot, this is kind of ranked. I've kind of ranked them. I really have a hard time ranking the girls because I just do. I don't know why. But anyways, in my first spot of my top 10 is, or number 10 is Davao Del Norte. She is really winning over the hearts of us in her interviews. She is so spontaneous in the moment. She's fun. She's very expressive. Davao Del Norte is also rising up there in terms of her walk for me. I feel like she's bringing that stage presence that we want to see from the contestants. Next up, in my number 9 spot, I have Miss Baguio. Miss Baguio is definitely higher on a lot of people's lists. I see that people have her in their top 5. I think she's totally amazing. Like I said, I have a difficult time ranking the girls because Miss Baguio, you know, tomorrow she could be in my top 5, or after the prelim she could be in my top 5. But in this moment right now, she's in my top 10 in the number 9 spot. Next up, Miss Bohol. I really wanted to have Miss Bohol higher. I had her higher in one of my previous lists, but I really feel like there's so many women just absolutely wowing me in every single way. I love Miss Bohol. I would love to see her in the top 5. I really feel like in those stage presence moments, she's missing something for me that maybe she had before, or maybe she's gonna bring it on the prelim night and on the final night, which I definitely hope to see from her. She's clearly amazing. She's so inspiring. She speaks very well. So she's definitely in my top 10. She could end up rising to the top and winning the crown of Miss Universe Philippines. Next up, Cebu Province. Cebu Province is really strong in interviews. She's well spoken. I love her energy on stage. I think she has a gorgeous face. She is really someone who I think your attention goes to because of her expressions and just, I guess, her energy. There's something about her energy that really draws my attention to her. Next up, Elbai. Elbai has climbed up my list, and she is still climbing my list because she is just doing so amazing. I would love to see her in the top 5. I don't think it's out of the question. I think she could land in that top 5 on the final night. Her last photo is gorgeous. The girls all in like the white dresses or white gowns or whatever. I'll have it here. It's amazing. It's probably one of the best photos, if not the best photo, or my favorite photo, I should say. I think Elbai is doing amazing. Love her confidence this year. Now we're in my top 5. In my 5th spot is Miss Cebu City. Miss Cebu City is really bringing it in terms of her interview, her walk, just everything. I feel like she's killing it. I feel like she's worked very hard. She has seemed to really capture the hearts of many of you. There's a lot of you that love her as well. So she's in my 5th spot right now. And in my 4th spot is Miss Taguig. She's just so gorgeous. This whole batch of women is unbelievably beautiful. Miss Taguig always catches my attention. As I've mentioned before, I feel like if there's anything that might hold her back, it could be some of her communication skills. Not that I don't think she speaks well, but I just feel like there's so many women with a lot of charisma, a lot of personality and everything when they speak, that I just think that Miss Taguig isn't quite there yet, but maybe she's gonna kill it in an interview and rise right to the top. In my number 3 spot is Miss Pasay. Miss Pasay has won over the hearts of you guys since I think the photos were released, since the contestants were released. She's obviously so gorgeous. She's a photogenic, videogenic. She has an aura about her. She has a great walk. She has great stage presence. I mean, she could win the crown of Miss Universe Philippines. Now here's where it might come as a surprise to some of you. In my top 2, I have 2 girls, but in my number 2 spot, this is gonna surprise some of you, it's even surprising me as I'm about to say it, in my number 2 spot is Miss Makati. I still deep down feel like Miss Makati could win Miss Universe Philippines. She really has it all. She's checked every box for me. I can see her wearing the Miss Universe Philippines crown. I really am so excited to see what she brings on the prelim night. But in my number 1 spot, who has really captured the hearts of so many, she is killing it in every single way, is Miss Miss Oriental. She is so outstanding. She's gorgeous. She's very well spoken. She's spontaneous. She just has the it factor. She totally does. In my number 1 spot right now to win Miss Universe Philippines is Miss Oriental. Some of the women who are also on my radar is Iloilo Province, Aklan, Davao del Sur, Lucena, Las Pinas, Mandaue. Those are the girls on my radar. Obviously, everyone is so amazing. That's why they made it into the top 32. So let me know, who do you think right now in this moment is going to be the next Miss Universe Philippines? If you were a judge and you could only pick one girl, one name, let me know right now in the comments. With that, I cannot wait to see what happens on the final night. I cannot believe the prelims are just 2 days away, less than 2 days away. It is so crazy. So if you want to see my videos, my lives where we can watch together, we can comment together, we can basically give our live reactions to the Miss Universe Philippines prelims. If you want to see my final predictions, make sure you hit subscribe and you won't miss a single thing, and I will see you guys in those videos. As always, if you want to see me on the daily, if you want to see my baby bump updates, which this bump is growing at a crazy rate, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you guys there.